all you hardcores out there, how are you doing? It's Russ here from Porky's Corner, the voice of hardcore boxing. We say the things that nobody else dare say. Other people think about saying what we say, but then they think, oh no, I don't want to upset anybody. I've got to work with these people down the line. Even though I should say it and it's the right thing to say, they don't say it. So that's that. But we do. We're not frightened of anybody. We won't be bullied or intimidated by anybody in the sport of boxing because 95% of them have got balls the size of processed peas. Today I'm joined by my good friend Max from Scarborough, who is a 1-0 undefeated heavyweight boxing prospect. He's just had his 34th birthday yesterday. How are you doing, Max?
I'm good, mate. I'm very good. I'm a bit fucking full of flu, cold, but apart from that, I'm all right.
Full of what?
Bit of cold and I don't know, flu or whatever. I'm all right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel 100% myself, mate. But if I say I don't feel very well, I'm on come down or I'm doing a cold turkey or something. Or do you know what I mean? Everything gets distorted. Like yesterday, I called into a boozer to see somebody because a local lad, as I was telling you yesterday, he's died. He called Stephen Sanderson. He died age 61. He got the sepsis. Did I say it was sepsis? Wasn't it? He got an infection in his blood or something. Anyway, he's passed away sadly. It's quite upsetting. So I wanted to call and see some of my friends who I've grown up with. And you know, I had a pint of shandy, and word soon gets back to my family and that. Oh, we've seen your Russ. You were knocking them back, not one pint back. A shandy. Do you know what I mean? People distort things, don't they? And that add their own bit on, which is sad. But so what have you been up to, Max?
Training, doing the rounds with Julian. 16th of April, next fight. Looking right forward to that. Doesn't help with feeling like I am. Doesn't help with preparation. And obviously celebrate my birthday. But obviously, you know, I don't drink really. I'm not really a big drinker. So yeah, that's it really. Nothing too strange. You know what I mean? You know what? Birthdays is something when you're younger, isn't it? Something. Yeah. Birthdays, I just think it's another day. I don't really celebrate my birthday because my dad died like 2 days after my birthday, you see. So I don't really celebrate my birthday, you see. So, you know what I mean? I never have. It's just, it brings back bad memories. So I just keep quiet over this period normally. So.
Yeah, Kent's birthday is not the same as yours. So I hope he's had a good birthday.
Yeah, Kent, I like Kent. You know,
your dad's been gone 10 years now, hasn't he, Max?
Yeah, 10 years, yeah, on 16th, yeah.
Still miss him, don't you?
Yeah, like mad. Yeah, he's what brought me up. My mum wasn't much to do with my childhood, so, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know you're going through a difficult time. Okay. How's Olive? She all right? Your daughter?
Yeah, she's good. Good. Got her this weekend. She likes. I think it's like she says to me, Daddy, I like spending time with you because we always do things fun. And it's like I do the fun things, and my ex does all the crappy things. You know what I mean? So it's quite good. I get the best of the pick. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Well, my two have got phones now. Age 9, we've got phones. We don't. It's when I get them, they're just on the phone, like that, TikTok, innit, and all that kind of thing. It's craziness, isn't it? About them 2 days now, and I don't know. I don't know how I feel about my children having phones, but obviously it's like what my decision. I don't get to make a decision. I don't get to make decisions like that. But I don't know. You just got to let them be kids, haven't you? I suppose if that's what other kids have got in the class. Some kids have had them. Like Ruby says to me, "I want a phone." I say, "Too young for a phone." She goes, "Lily, whoever, or some other kid, Emily or something. They've got they've had a phone since they were 7.5. Well,
Yeah.
good for them. But anyway, the mum's been and got them phones, and that's that. I mean, we know none of that when we were kids, were there? Well, when I was 9.
I think I had a phone. My first phone was when I was 16.
Well,
You know what I mean? I never had a phone throughout school. Not a chance. Facebook only came around, Christ, when I was 21.
first time I had a
mean?
phone was Easter 97. I was 26.5. I just finished the 5 stretch, and I got a phone. It was a Mitsubishi phone, a Mitsubishi on contract.
All right, yeah.
On contract.
Yeah.
I'll never forget a good friend of mine who were my cellmate, Dale Pinkney from Barnsley. For you living at Armfoot, then he took me for it into town. And I thought, well, Dale's being nice to me. And then when I was signing for it, for that contract thing, woman gave him a free upgrade and that because he'd got me to join. I said, no wonder you fetched me here, Dale. But yeah, so all right then. Where can we start? What did you think? What did you think about all the what do you think about all this beef that we've got going on social media at the moment? You know, I don't know. You know, other YouTube channels seem to be beefing with other YouTube channels. I mean, I try and swerve all that kind of thing and stick to what my channel does, what it says on tin. But sometimes you feel like you have to address these things because they're like prod you in the wrong place with a stick kind of thing, don't we? Do you think that, man?
You had to address the issue, what we did the other day. You had to address that because you were good for that person.
Yeah.
You had to do it. But I feel now because you reacted to that, and to be honest, when I look back, it's the right thing to do because you had him in your home, you introduced him to your kids, you know, and I mean, and it's like you treat him as your own. Now, he makes up total garbage, right? Yeah, I mean, it's a situation you have to address. Now, you know, these other YouTubers, they're going to be like feeding off that. Like you see,
why can't they make up their own content and create something and to invest? I mean, you've been in this studio here. There's like 2 here, green room in there for all other stuff we do, and then there's all this in here and that. Why don't they just have a go at it instead of like stoping that they can get going off at the back of a load of rubbish? Because somebody just sent me something now, and I think you've seen it. I've just had a gastric band in Turkey. I had this gastric band 9 years. This is what I hate about social media when people get things wrong. I had it 9 years ago, this gastric band next month, or 400 pounds in weight. So I had it 9 years ago. So if you're watching, I'm not even going to say the guy's channel name, I forgot anyway, but somebody behind the screen, obviously, again, behind the camera. I had it 9 years ago, this gastric band, and it cost 7,000, right? And it was at the Claremont in Sheffield. It's a boring story. And I wish I'd had dieted and done it the hard way. Well, I suppose it still is the hard way because you're still not eating now, are you? But if you overeat, you're sick, aren't you? You know that, don't you? If you have too many mouthfuls, it just comes back out because it means your tummy's full. So you can't cheat it, and it's still going strong 9 years later. But now I just wish people had changed subject. But I'm one of them people, I'm always going to fire back. It's in my nature. So, but like I said, people want you to fire back. It's when they say things like that me and you are lovers, Max. Do you know what I mean? Things like that, I know, yeah. And all the vile stuff they're going on about.
Do you know this?
Sorry, go on.
Go on. Yeah, no, don't you know? Go on, mate. Sorry, my bad.
Now, which brings me to what point I want to make is, what can you say? What can you say, and what can you not say on social media? So I've been through all this with a legal person, and when I did the interview with Matt, Luke, Nikki, and I did a separate one with Ryan Rollins, who's ex-boxer, and he can fight for fun. They got their opinions out about, we'll call him Penfold, shall we? But everybody knows what I'm on about. They got their opinion out about Penfold, but I never said anything. I just asked the questions. But what disappoints me about people like Malcolm X, and we know what we're on about here, don't we, when I say Malcolm X?
Yeah.
Malcolm X says he wants to duff me up or whatever because he's unhappy that I've said something about Penfold. Well, I never really said anything about Penfold. I let the other people have a platform to tell their story. Now, the legal people that went through this, and we have to pay legal people to go through it, it wasn't a lot. The legal person that went through it said, you've done nothing wrong here, that's good to go out. YouTube let it go out. They complained, and a few months later, YouTube gave me the opportunity to replace Penfold's name and put another name, because they called him by his first name, his proper name actually, or mute that out. And I said, nah, take it down, I wasn't really bothered. It got 20,000. It weren't gaining any extra views. It were gaining about, between 1 and 5 a day. So it had died a death and it had gone as far as it could with 20,000. And that's more or less the reach on my channel. Obviously, we're 11,500 subscribers, but the reach is usually about 20, because a lot of people don't subscribe because they don't want anybody to know that they've subscribed, kind of thing. But I can understand that because I'm a bit out there. But nothing was said by me about Penfold, and nothing that they said was detrimental, because all they said were they had a sleepover at Penfold and they were wrestling on bed and all that. Now, that to me is unbecoming of a coach, right? And this is why I let them have the platform. But I never said that. I let them have the platform, but they never said anything illegal. And what amazes me is we've got people like Spencer Fearing. Yeah, you, Spencer. Somebody like you should be going up to this guy and saying, well, why don't you just go out there and address it? It's like anything. It's like anything else on social media. People have agendas, don't they? But I haven't personally got anything wrong with Penfold. He's never done anything wrong to me. And if he does do good in the sport of boxing, I do highlight it. I thought he did well with Jordan Gill. They've had him from debut, and it looks like he's probably going to win a world title at some point. Good luck to him. But
Hopefully Price is doing all right.
He's doing well as well. Good luck to him. But this is how I look at it, right? Them lads had a platform to say what they wanted, and they did, but they never said anything illegal. And if he's unhappy with that, he should go to the police, and the police will get in touch and take it down. Now, they tried the best to do everything, and YouTube still gave me permission. If you want to leave it up, you can leave it up, but can you take his name out of it? I went, nah, take it down. We're not taking notes getting took out. Oh, okay, then, well, we're not giving you a strike. So I've not got a strike. I've never had a strike because we do everything by the book. So because you only get 3 chances on here, you know that, don't you? But you just set another one up anyway then. So, but
how did you and Spencer falling out? How did you fell out like?
How did we fall out? When I worked with Dennis, I've been with Dennis about 4.5 years. And 15 April, it was August 19. So 5 years, 4 months I've been up there. And Dennis called me into his office and he said, he's had Daniel, no, it was Nicola. Nicola phoned me here, and I went up. I went and seen him in his office. He said, oh, I've had Daniel Kinahan on the phone regarding Spencer. Can you take him out helmets? I went, no. He goes, why? I goes, because he's at votes. He goes, you are? I went, yeah. I was, if Peter Fury can go in it, Spencer's going in it. And I didn't think, well, I wasn't sure if Peter were happy when he were at helmets, because he rung me up and asked me to go see him in Salford. I went to see him, and I thought, what am I doing here? I went and I walked in, and he really.
You are shitting yourself then.
I wasn't shitting me then, because I've always thought that me and Pete were pretty close, but I thought there were Huey there and his little sons, and they're all like 6'6" upwards, aren't they, his lads?
Yeah.
And they're all having a meal in that Sharks rugby place. And I went with Frank, and Frank and Peter were like that, aren't they? Both got a 10 stretch together. When they finished the 10 stretchers, they bought an house next door to each other, didn't they? They've known each other years.
Ah.
So I thought I'll be all right and with Frank. So I went up and, you know, I'm cheeky, aren't I?
Yeah.
I went up, gave him a hug and that, and we, he even did an intro for me, didn't he? That's where
Yeah.
I met him. He did an intro for me. He said, "Oh, I'm Peter Fury and I've been an helmet." Look, it's tongue in cheek, innit? Do you know what I mean? So I explained it to him. So, look, you might votes. That's anyway. Yeah, no problem. He laughed it off. Not everybody laughed it off. Spencer takes his son a bit too serious and he didn't laugh it off. If Spencer had laughed it off, it'd have been all right. But because he got Kinahan to ring Dennis, well, you know what I'm like, man. So that's a challenge to me, isn't it? And then what he did then, Dennis says to me, I said, "Is that it, Dennis?" He went, "Yeah, I can't do that with you, man. You're always going to do your own thing." I went, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, Spencer, is it all right to give your phone number to Spencer?" And I went, "Well, why didn't he ask for that in the first place instead of having to sort of flex his muscles? Well, look who I know," kind of thing. And I saw that as a challenge to me. I didn't have a problem with him up till then. Sometimes you see interviews that he does, and I think some of his interviews I didn't like, some I do. But everybody has an opinion on everybody in boxing, don't they? But I never had beef like I've got now with him. I mean, at the moment now, I just want to get at it with him, mate. Spencer, get down to 154 and we'll get at it. It's only fair, isn't it? I mean, I'm coming out of my comfort zone to get at it with you. You're a bigger man. Why are you 6'1"? I'm 5'8". So I'm coming out of my comfort zone. I don't see you going and fighting a cage fighter, Spencer. You pick your battles, don't you? And then he's coming out and he's going on about me picking me battles with that Michael, who's a white collar boxer. And I'm not boxed. And he's same height as me, same weight, that Michael. So and he's got bigger feet than me. So what's Spencer's problem? He's trying to make out that I'm a bully and that, and he's saying it looked like I didn't want it and all that kind of thing. Trying to pour piss on the situation. Look, did I go there for violence, Max? I didn't go there for violence, did I?
No, you didn't.
I went there to show him up, didn't I?
Yeah.
And when we got there, right, were the police parked on that street?
Yeah, they were.
In an X6, BMW X6. So we've got the police there. There's Craig Thorpe, one who lives over here, Craig Thorpe from Rotherham, who works for Clifton Mitchell. He's you know Scott Brunt who comes here, don't you? Well, he's a mate of Scott. So there's Craig there. He said, "You can't come in, Porky." I went, "Well, fair enough then." Obviously, I had words with him after that, didn't I? When we went and sat back on end, I shouldn't have said that. I said, "What are you fucking looking at?" He goes, "I'm fucking looking at you." So that's just how I am, because I was pissed off. But I didn't really want to get in there. I wanted to see him. I wanted to see if he were in there. I didn't want to go into the presser and that. But we waited, and then Coogan come in, and he said, "Oh, he'll be in a minute." I went, "Well, brilliant." And when he came, you went, "Oh, he's down in." I went, "Right, film this, Matt." So no punches were thrown. Nothing. I said, "Just get right back here." I couldn't get my coat off. It were all my tracky top were rolled up, and it were all caught in arm bit there. Fucking, this looks embarrassing. But it was cringe anyway. But we didn't go there for violence, and I didn't go there to save face. I went there. I like to fucking look a man in eyes if he said bullshit about it. I like to just look at him and have my say. I'm not really bothered about face. If we'd have got at it, we'd have got at it. He'd have been a man in his 50s against a man 20 years younger, rolling about on the floor in front of a load of doormen on CCTV with the police there. Do I look stupid? And what am I going to do? Get me sent on an afraid charge because of him? How am I supposed to know he's a crackpot? Everybody's saying he's a crackpot. So Spencer, if he's a crackpot, Spencer, why are you defending him? And it's all come out about him doing that with Dean Powell. I thought you were Dean Powell's mate, Spencer. Why aren't you saying to that Michael he needs to come out and make an apology to the Dean Powell family, to Dean Powell's family about what he did? I don't see anybody doing that. Do you see anybody doing that, Matt?
No,
I don't. So
Spencer only spoke. I don't know if you saw it. He did a live sort of Instagram with Coogan. Coogan, fair play to Coogan. He explained. It literally said on the tape, what you see is actually what happened. and that was it. You know, Michael came, you know, he didn't want to know, sort of went inside, and Coogan said it.
So who were on this live feed thing? Were it just Malcolm X and Coogan?
Yeah. Malcolm X and Coogan. You know what? Do you know what? I have a heart. So this is my downfall. I feel sorry for Spencer X a little bit. I feel sorry for him because you know what?
He was trying to build armies and slag me off, wasn't he? And Coogan went, "Look, that's what happened." And that was it. He's done that. He's done that with a few people. Keep going, because I've jotted a few things down and I've checked my phone and I've had a few texts off people. And Spencer, we're going to come to you in a minute, so keep tuned.
But the thing is with Spencer, he likes to keep himself relevant. He does this, and I mean, you know, I look at his interviews. I think, I'll tell you what, I agree with a lot of his interviews. I agree with, like he said about Dylan White and Fury. Dylan White should call his bluff. I agree with a lot of things.
He's not behind the door with boxing. He's a pretty sharp individual, so we have to give him that credit.
Yeah.
And he is a snappy dresser. We'll give him that. We'll give him
the thing. What puts me off about him? I mean, look. What I will say is, what really annoyed me about him and really pissed me off about him, when he dug it, you know, when obviously you're really bad with that surgery in Turkey, all that, he decided to jump on you at that time. And when I came out of all that stuff about him, etc., I look back at that and I think maybe I was a bit harsh, maybe, you know, but you're digging out my pal who couldn't defend himself.
But calling me a jailbird and a smackhead, correct, was a smackhead, but I don't like that word smackhead because people associate it with people who shoplift and burgle out people's houses, don't they, for junkies and all that. I can assure you that when I was taking it, I weren't poor. It's not to fucking brag about that, taking that shit, but so I don't like that word smackhead, but he was going on about me being a jailbird and smacker and that. Well, he was in jail for a week.
Yeah.
Now he said it was for money laundering, but I know it wasn't. So we'll leave that there. We'll leave that at that, Max.
Yeah, well, what I will say is I shouldn't have said those things. Really, I shouldn't have come out, and that's why it was taken down. So I apologise. So I apologise, Spencer, for those things I said about you. Right, which I shouldn't do. So, you know, that I'll leave that there. So I'm sorry, Spencer, for that one. I'll give you that. But the one thing I do disagree with him, right, is that he says all stuff too much about race. He needs to leave it alone. It's too much about race. Anything race, he jumps on. I don't understand it.
He likes to jump on the trending stories and I'm not a superstar. I'm not even famous. I'm infamous, and I've been infamous since I was 14 years of age where I live. You know that, Max. But what I want to say is this. He got a little bit of traction. A 40-second, 30-second video in Nottingham. He got a bit of traction, and he got all the boxing community talking about it. And that's it. It's fish and chip wrappers now. And he couldn't help himself but to jump in on the act, to try and pour scorn on what he saw. Right, that's what he tried to do. He tried to jump on it and go, "Oh, Paul looked like you were threatened," and all that. Look, if he'd have turned around and said, "Come on then, we're going round back," I'd have gone round back in Cat Alley with him, and we would have got at it. You could have filmed it, and Coogan could have been his guy to make sure that it were all right. You know what I mean? And that would have been it. Nobody needed to get involved. There wouldn't have had to be no police. But who was it that went and told the security people that are on my way? Because we phoned them, didn't we? I left a message saying I'm on my way. So the security knew, and the police were waiting. And that's how they deal with it, things, Max. And so our own faults for warning him. Well, we'll try to relay. Look, we're coming to see you. So if you want to go get all your pals, go get them all. But I'm coming to see you, and we'll see if you've got the same energy. He never had the same energy. He was stunned, wasn't he? But for Spencer to say it's bullying and he picks his battles, Spencer needs to go and look at the Michael's videos and what he has said. leading up to it. Well, he would have seen it because I put it all in my video, didn't I? We had Cameron edit it all and put all them pieces in, you know, off from little clips here, there, and everywhere. So Spencer, you got that wrong, mate, didn't you? You tried to pour scorn on me yet again, and there's other things as well. Like you were going on about Danny Cassius Connor were going up to Porky's house to fill him in, and Porky said he'd phone police. Oh, Danny, please don't come and get me. I'll phone the police. Never happened. Never had a conversation with him in my life. He phoned me 6 years ago, Danny Connor.
How did you meet him?
Right, I've never met Danny Connor. Danny Connor has never met me once. Right. Somebody sent me something on Twitter about 6 years ago, and he says, "Here, Pork, what do you think to this?" I keep calling me son Pork now. He said, "Porky, what do you think to this?" What? He sent me it. I've looked at it. This Danny Connor is bragging off about selling Joshua tickets and making a profit on them. So I've gone, because I've been out Saturday night. I hope you die of fucking cancer. That's what I said. Kenny Noy said it about that jury, didn't he, when he got found guilty, and everybody said he was a fucking hero. So I said that, and most people said fucking bang on, but it's not a good thing to say. But what did Danny Connor go and do? He phoned me up, and as soon as I answered the phone, it was him coming through on video. They were like that, laid on his bed with his hand behind his fucking back post. Cheeky cunt. He went, shithouse or something like that. And I just went, block, like that. Then next minute, Dennis has phoned me. So I fucking had somebody fucking ringing here called Danny Connor saying, "Oh, Dennis, I'm sorry to ring you on a Sunday morning, but one of your employees has said that he hopes I die of cancer because I'm selling tickets." That's what you said, Danny Connor. Dennis said, "Have you said that?" I went, "Yeah." He went, "You fucking idiot. What are you saying things like that for?" So it pissed me off. He said, "But you can't go around saying that." And I went, "Yeah, no, I can't." So I know out of order. Then what does he go and do? He goes and starts putting stuff about people that have had cancer and this and that. Look, trying to whip up a storm. What they do, these people, they build armies and they whip up storms. That's what they do. So, and I thought it was, look, I was out of order. I shouldn't have said that. But all this about, he'd rung me up then and said he'll come into my house. Oh, 6 years later, sorry, he's come out and said, yeah, and he told me that he'd phone police if I went to his house. Well, why didn't he say that 6 years earlier? Because he never phoned me again after that. We've never spoke, Danny Connor. We've never spoke on telephone, ever, after that. And I never even answered you back that day. When you did ring me, I just pressed block. So people add things on, but Danny's ex-MTK, which brings me to Peter McDonough. Now, Peter McDonough, Spencer went to him. "I want you to do me a favour. I need you to hammer Pork." This is what you did, Spencer, because it's come back to me. And I'll see about helping you with getting your own shows and this and that. So Spencer offering people slots on MTK shows and I'll have a word with so-and-so for him, we'll get you in and all this. So Peter McDonough's going to go, yeah, what do I have to do? Oh, just put out Porky's a grass. Peter McDonough, to be fair, has gone, no, I can't put that, I'll put, is Porky a grass? Because Porky, we're going to phone the police. Please don't come and get me, Danny. A failed journeyman boxer, 10 stone wet through, coming to my house. Max, would he get the shock of his life if he knocked on my door?
Yeah, he would.
He'd get the shock of his life, because you know all them manky teeth he's got, they'd all fall out with shock and he wouldn't need to go to dentist, and we could get you some false ones then, Danny, because you can't afford any proper ones, can you? But look, what these people do, like I've just said there, they build armies, and that's just one little thing that Theo's done. And then he's trying to take charge of argument with Coogan, going on about Piglet. I call him Piglet. Well, his name's Porky. No, he will refer to him as Piglet. Who cares what you want to call me? If you want to call me Big Fat Sow Pig, or Porky the Pig, or Wrigley Piggly, I'm not really bothered, Spencer. Just keep growing the Porky legend, please. You and all these other channels. Keep growing it, because all these videos keep popping up every day, and it's what I thrive on. I thrive on it. You know that, don't you, Max? I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
When I go to the local, they go, fucking hell, who's this bloke here? He's done a video about you. I said, they're all doing them about me, kid. They're all doing them about, oh, they can't move forward without talking about me. But they're doing you a favour, though, aren't they, Brett? What do you mean? Well, they're leaving you alone, aren't they? While they're talking about me. So I must be doing something right. So I mean, there's a bit of jealousy there, a bit of this, bit of that. But I'm not really bothered. And to be honest with you, Spencer Fearon, I don't even give him a second thought until somebody sends me a video. And every now and then he pipes up. Now, in a few months' time, we're doing something a bit different on channel. He'll have plenty to say for himself then, because I'm going to make him a star. Oh, I'm going to make him a star, Spencer, when I've finished the next few months. He's going to be mega famous, aren't you, Spencer? You'll have plenty to say then, lad. You'll get your opportunity then. But till then, just pipe down. But this is how I look at it. I don't mean to go on and on and on. Let me just point this out. Satanta got rid of him, Spencer Fearon, right?
Yeah.
Dennis Hobson at Fight Zone, they won't work with him, right? Sky Sports got rid of him, sacked him. And he was going around all houses when Sky didn't renew his deal. Oh, speaking to Johnny Nelson and everybody. You name it, Spencer, you were speaking to him when you got dropped at Sky. Frank Warren, do you think Frank Warren wants to work with him at BT Sports? No. Do you think Mick Hennessy wants to work with him at Channel 5 or Callum and Wasserman Group? Do you think Steve Bunce wants to work with Spencer Fearon on 5 Live BBC Radio? No. Talk Sport? No. So we got left here. MTK and all that they're doing, and that's it. He's burnt his bridges everywhere.
Why though?
Well, when you're going around and you're making false accusations about Oscar Rivers being a dope cheat, Oscar Rivers felt it. He went into bat, didn't he, for Dylan White to try and water the story down about Dylan White's drug test and started going on about Oscar Rivers, and he got carried away with himself, blah, blah, blah. You can imagine him in cells, police cells, can't you? Could you imagine being Spencer Fearon's co-accused? Could you imagine him being in docket, be a John Gotti, Sammy Gravano job, wouldn't it? Hey? Do you know what I mean, Mark? So, listen, man, I ain't got no against Spencer Fearon. I wish him all the best, but 1 minute he's coming out in an interview saying he's going to bust me up and this and that. And next thing he's saying, I'm not going to even lay a finger on him. I've got too much energy and this and that. Spencer, when you put your head down on that pillow at night, Spencer, you see me. You see me, because you know that you last fought as a pro at 11 stone, right? And you got it ring at 12 stone. I'm going to give you the same opportunity, Spencer, to fight me on the hard road or in the ring at 11 stone. Because fighters are not superheroes, Spencer, are we? So, and I'm not even a fighter, Spencer. But if I can't fucking get stuck into you, there's a big problem. So get you sent to 11 stone and zip your mouth till you do it. It's not rocket science, is it? I mean, this is how I look at it, Matt. How many belts did Spencer Fearon win as a professional fighter?
None, didn't he?
None. How many have I won? None. And I've not even took up the sport. So why should I be bothered about him? He hasn't won out.
Didn't he go for a bout? Did he go for a Southern Area though? And
He went for a Southern Area and he got lit up by Dave Walker. He got put into orbit.
There we go. Yeah.
So that's Spencer. That's Danny Connor and that's Spencer dealt with, and that Michael. That's 3 little figures dealt with.
I've got a few questions for you that people ask me on Insta because you ask because.
How many subscribers you got now?
Who, me?
Yeah,
21 and a half.
21,500.
Yeah.
Go on, Mark. You're doing well.
So people ask me across Insta because obviously you get crap through your email and you just filter it all out and you just
send me all to me. Send me all the crap because it'll save you punching your old ladies about. Send it all to me and I'll take the brunt of it.
Right, so first question I've got is, what car are you buying next?
What car am I buying next? At the moment, I drive a Mercedes. It's a C class coupe, Premier edition, black edition, whatever they call it. You know, where everything is black in it, all chrome and everything, and black
Yeah.
edition. There's only so many made of them.
Got heated seats.
But it's got heated seats, yeah, and it's wheels are done in like metallic in bronze or something, which is a bit cringe. But I like to have my wheels done every 12 months, 18 months. So, but I'm gonna check. I think I'm gonna put the wheels back to black.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like this colour. But what car am I gonna get next? I don't know. There's some great cars next door at Eastwood Autos. If anybody's wanting to get a car, I've just been looking at one they've got out here. It's a Tiguan, but not for me. It's like the family cars, aren't they, Tiguans? But I don't really know. There's that much to choose from. But when you've just had a water pump done and Brembo brake calipers or pads and discs and all that, and spent 4 tires and everything. I had an head gasket done as well not long back. You feel that, and this is how you done at Europa as well, Mercedes and Sheffield. Why would I want to get rid of it? Because if you needed all that done, that's when you go trade it in, isn't it? But if you're going to spend all that on it, I'm not gonna get rid of it. I don't think for the moment, because I think there's another 18 months still in it. And then I promised I'd let Chris Smedley have it cheap when he's got. It's only got about 80,000 on the clock. So if that's 79,500, so I'm doing a lot of miles. So, but no, I'm happy with it. I like it. But if I was to get one, I nearly bought one off them next door. They had a white one, a BMW. I think it was like Clinton's, a Grand Tourer, is it? A BMW. It will be I'll probably get a BMW or an Audi or a Mercedes, German stuff, because they don't break down, do they?
No.
That's what probably get something like that again. So, and it'll be diesel.
Here's one for you. How many coats have you got?
Coat. 20. About 20.
How many of them are leather?
5. 6.
Here's one. How many pair of trainers you got?
Yeah. I don't know, 50 pair. I got 20 for free, didn't I, from Lacoste, though, didn't I? I give 10 away and I kept 10.
Yeah, someone dared me to ask this one, and they said, I bet you don't ask Russ this. They asked me, Skew, what do you think of Ty and Booth's channel?
Well, I've only watched it a couple of times, right? And for me to sit and watch something like that, it'd have to be a catchy thumbnail. And it'd have to be somebody that I fucking didn't like if you were rinsing them. So I thought, I'll see what this is. This will be funny. And usually, sometimes you can find out what bit to forward it to. But I've only watched it a few times, and I think he can be quite funny. But I don't know if I could. I don't know. I don't get that having long fingernails and drinking Echo Falls on live chat, and I don't get that. Me, cut your fingernails and go get a nice Chardonnay. So, I don't know. It's everybody to their own, isn't it? Everybody to their own. People, he might think my channel's what. I know he said some pretty ruthless things about my channel, but it's his opinion. He's entitled to it. Do you know what I mean? I've only ever met him once, and I didn't really speak to him that day. I was with Tommy Chadburn and Denzel Brown at Dennis show. It was a Sheffield United ballroom, and he came in and he was sat on the table. He came in and he was sat on the table like that, on this table, not the chair, the table. He was sat like that. So, and I think his boxing career I think he was still fighting then, actually. Hey, listen, he nearly beat Eubank him, you know. He was schooling Eubank, mate.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, no.
He was schooling Eubank, and I don't know what happened. I think he said something, and people took it wrong way about the late Scott Westgarth, and I think they took his license off him. And I think he packed in. But hey, listen, he was schooling Eubank. I remember talking with Dennis about it. I said, Dennis, you want to get him signed in? He was schooled Eubank, but Dennis were good mates with Glyn Rhodes. And boxing can be a bit political, and Glyn Rhodes were the trainer of Scott Westcott, and you know how it is. And I can't understand why he hasn't gone and gone for his license again and started again. But it's maybe he's maybe missed his opportunity now. But it must grate him every time he sees Eubank driving about in a McLaren and living in a big house in Brighton. It must grate him knowing that Eubank's only going all that because who his dad is, because of name. When really Tyrone Booth, if he'd have had a longer camp and not took the fight on short notice, it'd probably beat him. This is why fighters should stay in shape.
Yeah.
So he'll probably regret that and take that to his grave, that he had the opportunity to do well. And like I said, he nearly beat him, and you know, he were a tallish ranger middleweight. I used to say to Dennis, you need to sign people like that, bit of controversy, things like that. You mind going for your Dave Allens and stuff like that. Tyrone Booth's a better fighter than Dave Allen, technique wise.
Yeah.
But I don't know, he eats their own, but his channel's not for me. Not for me.
Yeah, well, going on Tyrone Booth, don't you think he digs out Froch a little bit? Has he got like something against him?
No, I hope not. Carl's not done no wrong to him, has he? I don't know. They're from Nottingham, aren't they? Both of them from Nottingham. Might be a bit of intense beef there. I don't know, but it must be. I don't know. Carl there with beautiful missus, beautiful family, kids in private school, 2 Ferraris on driving a Range Rover, £1 million house in Burton Joyce, or what? Probably 2 million quid now. It's all done, and loads of properties all over Nottingham, and no debt. Set up for life, worth about £25 million, and building tower blocks now. He's building tower blocks next in Nottingham with his consortium. So he's going from strength to strength in it, but he's been messing with houses since he was in his early 20s. Carl bought an house when he worked at NTL. He worked at NTL, didn't he? So good luck to Carl Froch. If he's jealous of Carl Froch, well, jealousy is a terrible thing. If he in, why dig him out? I don't know. But the battered onion ring story, I asked him about that, and he went, "It's not true." So you can only go on when you ask somebody. But who cares? It's like me and you, Max. We're not lovers, are we? You know what I mean? We're not lovers, and so let people have their say. Do you know what I mean? And just laugh it. You got to laugh it off, haven't you? But if it's serious, like when I got them lads on and they were talking about Penfold, that was serious, wasn't it? Right?
Yeah.
Penfold's never come out and addressed that, has he? Why didn't you send letters to these lads via his legal people? Why didn't you go to police and do them for slander? Why? Why haven't I had legal letters? Why? It's not true. So the damage is done now, isn't it? People will make their own assumptions of what went on. But them lads are welcome on my channel anytime they want. Anytime they want, because they're good friends of mine. But it's in their words, not my words.
Exactly.
It's in their words, not mine. I just let them have the platform.
One other thing, someone asked me, what's the first bird you took to the cinema and what did you see?
The first bird I ever took to the cinema. You mean like on a proper date?
Yeah, like as in not
Teenagers.
Just like without you know how you are, you know what I mean? Not like the other way.
Oh yeah. I think I went to see Top Gun with somebody, but I can't remember who it was. But I remember when I left school, I took somebody who were 19 and I was 16 to see. I went on bus from Edlow, 456 bus into town. I had a brown leather, stripy black and brown. It was 1987 summer it was. and we went to see. I was doing community service at the time. I've been doing community service that day at Bentley. We went to see, who's that girl? Madonna. And Madonna and Griffin Dunn. I'm not going to say the girl's name, but she was 3 years older than me, 3 years older than me, and everything was going great. And I was seeing her for a couple of weeks, and then she told me, we went out for a drink one night, and I got speaking to some people who were her age, people I knocked about with, and one of my mates told me that this lad who I know had been out with her, and I was like, oh man, wondered. And I asked her, I said, you've been out with one of my mates? She went, yeah, so and so. Last year it was. I went, oh right, and it was never the same after that. Yeah. The kid's all right on that, but because my mate had been seen, I was like, oh, you know, I mean, here's me taking her in pub and that, proud as punch, 16-year-old going with a 19-year-old. And she'd been out with one of my mates who used to go out with my cousin. And I was like, oh, man. I wondered. And I still see her to this day. Every now and then I see her if I'm out putting some petrol in my car or shopping that. And she's a nice lass. But what could have been? You know,
it always says what it would have been. Yeah, it's always that. Isn't it?
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah. On the old adventures onto boxing, it's a question I wanted to ask you. What do you think of Conor Benn's next opponent?
Chris Van Eden. Well, he's been inactive for ages and he's shot to bits. And I've heard stories. I'm not going to say who told me, but I've heard stories from a couple of trainers that he's really, really, really injury prone. He's got hand injuries. He don't do road work. I've heard all this. So they're going to dress it up as a tough fight against a former world champion, because he's a former IBO champion, isn't he? So they're going to dress it up as experience against a young gun, and last thing you lose is your power and all that. The guy's not even doing road work. So when he comes out, he's going to come out swingers. He's going to have a go. And Conor Benn, don't be surprised if Conor Benn takes him out inside 3-4 rounds, cleans him out, cleans his clock.
You know what, do you find these opponents Conor Benn's getting a bit worse? The worse than like Samuel Vargas, getting worse.
Nearly as worse as that. Nearly as worse as that Barman you fought, Max.
That's what I mean. Well, that's what I'm saying. They're going backwards, aren't they? It's like, you know, how's that a progression from Vargas going up? You know what I mean? Or Granados, you know what I mean? It's not progression at all. I thought we're progressing and developing fighters. What development's about this? You know what I mean? So
I don't think that Conor Benn wants to fight anybody where it's going to be a nice fight. I mean, Michael McKinson's a great fight for him.
His opponent's pulled out, isn't he? Virgil Ortiz, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's a great fight for Conor Benn. But they're trying to keep him protected, keep that old protected. Because when you're 20 and 0, he's 25-year-old now. He's at 25. And he's won them all and he's knocked a few out. I personally think that they're protecting him. But will they fight David Ivanishin? Well, they need to get a move on, because David Ivanishin can't base his career calling Conor Benn out, because he's knocking on now, isn't he? David Ivanishin, he can get older at any time. You know, it's like, you know, a cricketer when he goes out to bat, normally he might slot. Kevin Peterson for me, like the best bat I've ever seen. Some of the things he used to do, freakish. He'd be switching hands, you know, to sweep and that, and bat left-handed, right-handed, a bit like Ronnie O'Sullivan. Freaks of nature. And Kevin Peterson, for me, made hair stand on back of your arms. But even he got to a stage where they were facing fast bowling, and he was like, oh, I didn't see that. That were a bit too quick for me. And normally I get onto them really quick, because old age, time waits for nobody, does it, Father Time?
Yeah.
But I just think that David Evanesian can get hold of a night at any time. And it's a shame really, because I think he's a great fighter. And I think he's been stitched up mainly by Eddie Hearn, not giving him this fight with Conor Benn. I think they've protected Conor Benn. And I think that Conor Benn shot his mouth off about this and that, and he should really go and fight him. He might get round to it when David Evanesian's got some more miles on clock, and we might all have to eat humble pie, but it really needs to happen now, doesn't it, really? And they shouldn't be keeping them apart. Give them a 2-fight deal so they get another payday. I don't know. What's the answer?
Well, put a rematch clause.
Hey?
Put a rematch clause. Put a rematch clause in it.
Yeah, they could do that. They could put a rematch clause in it. Yeah, if Conor Benn loses, he gets another bite at the cherry. He gets to come and avenge it. But I want to see him in some fights, Conor Benn, now, where he's going into the fight and we're saying, do you know what? Conor Benn's really up against. I mean, look at it like this, right? How many fights has Conor Benn had and Dylan White? How many fights have they had? And Anthony Joshua, where you've said Joshua, Dylan White, Conor Benn, they're the big noises for Eddie Hearn, aren't they, at the moment? They're his like big names. How many of them fighters have you seen go out to that ring and you've gone, do you know what? They're up against it here today. Once, Joshua, when he fought Usyk, I was saying he's up against it here. But Bucky's had him a favourite. But I was saying he was up against him. I've never seen Conor Benn in a fight where he's not the favourite. Dylan White's only ever fought one fight, and that was Joshua. Since Joshua beat him, cleaned his clock out, didn't he, at first one? When have we seen Dylan White in a fight where we've gone, this is a tough one, Dylan, for this? We haven't. And it's the same for all three of them.
Joseph Parker.
No, I don't think so. I think Dylan White was a favourite for that one. One is Joseph Parker.
Oscar Rivas.
No, Oscar Rivers. No, he was a favourite for that one. Oscar Rivers, he had everything stacked in his favour. Glove choice, ring choice. They had the drug test. Where's the B sample, Dylan? Do you remember the B sample going missing? Nobody has said anything about that, would they? Everything was stacked against Oscar Rivers, and Oscar Rivers still put him on his arse, didn't he? But Dylan was a favourite all the way through. We've never seen Dylan White in a fight where we've gone, Dylan White is up against it here. Not once, mate, in my opinion.
Del Boy. You can say life and death with Del Boy.
Yeah, he had a life and death with him, but he was favourite going into both fights, wasn't he? With Bucky's. Do you know what I mean? He's never been an underdog. When's he been an underdog, Dylan White? When's Joshua been an underdog? Even in Ruiz rematch, he was still a favourite. Joshua's never been an underdog in one fight. Not one fight, mate. And neither's Conor Benn. And Dylan White's once against Joshua in the first one. Other than that, Dylan White's always been favourite. So as far as I'm concerned, Matchroom want it all their own way. And if their fighter does get beat, what do? They have a rematch clause, don't they? So it just drags out and drags out and drags out. And fans lose interest. And Eddie Hearn makes enemies with fans and other promoters and this and that. And hardly anybody wants to work with him in America because he took that mentality from being a bully and promoter in England. He took that to America. And they didn't put up with that over there, did they? They froze him out. So
who's Joshua's next opponent? I keep hearing Wilder now.
No, I don't think that. Wilder's not going to take that fight. He's not even been training, has he? And I don't think his mind's in the right place to take that fight. If Joshua, right, fights in the next few months, before, say Joshua fights in the next 3 months, and it's not Usyk, he's got to fight somebody because he hasn't got a belt, has he? Right, so there's no belt. So it's not going to be a 12-round fight. It'll be a 10-round international fight for no belt because you're not going to fight 12 rounds, are you? If there's no belt on the line. So if there's no belt on the line and it's a 10-rounder, how can that be a pay-per-view? they'll pay-per-view it, obviously, because they're greedy, but Joshua's gonna have to fight somebody with a heartbeat. But who's he gonna fight? Who can he fight next? It's got to be Joe Joyce. Got to be. I could get behind that. A 10 round with Joe Joyce and suit Joshua. He won't want to go 12 with Juggernaut. 10 rounds with Joyce would suit him. Joyce would want 12 rounds. But would it be for an interim belt? Would Joshua be able to lower his stem for an interim belt? Would Eddie be trying to get some of the belts freed up? Yeah, I think he would. He'd want some of the belts freed up. He'd probably get the WBA freed up. Usyk could be champion Emirates or whatever they call it. Do you know what I mean? And Joshua could be fighting for interim. I don't know how they're going to work it, but they're in a bit of a pickle. They're in a pickle at the moment. You are.
It'd be bad taste if they say all the belts or the governing bodies strip Usyk from any of the belts because of what's going on. It'd be in bad taste, don't you think?
Of course it would, mate. It'd be shocking if they stripped him. I mean, Usyk's defending his family name and his family and his honour and his country. The guy's a hero in his own country. He's the undisputed cruiserweight champion and he's got all the belts at heavyweight except one. As a heavyweight, he's like unified heavyweight, Olympic gold medalist. He's only 19-0. He's doing everything. And he's a multi-millionaire. He doesn't need money. Listen, what he's doing him, Lomachenko and them Klitschko's, you'd be proud to say they're my relatives, wouldn't you? Or there's my brother or cousin or that's my dad or my son or whatever. You'd be proud to be associated with them four, wouldn't you? They're fetched up correctly by the parents, aren't they? I think so. I've always thought all them have got manners.
Yeah, I agree to the point. But okay, here's this scenario. Let's say Joshua fights Joe Joyce, okay? Joe Joyce beats Joshua, right? What happens then? Does he ultimately get this rematch thing taken off and he fights Usyk in his place? Will that be in there?
Well, yeah, he'd have to be, wouldn't it? But Joshua had won another bite at cherry, wouldn't it? If Joyce beats Joshua and there's no belt online, Joe Joyce, I'd probably have to fight him again because that's what they like. They like to squeeze. Eddie Hearn, right, likes to squeeze the pound coin that much, the Queen's head's popping. Yeah. Squeeze its life out of that pound coin doing that much. The Queen squeeze the life out of it. But if it's a stinker, who want to see it again?
Potentially could be a stinker, that sort of fight, because like, you know, Joe Joyce, he's just swings. He's an all right jab, but he swings and comes in. Don't see him really hit body shots. You know, he's always head hunting, but he's I tell you what, I don't think you can knock him out, Joe Joyce. I think you can't knock him out. It's impossible. So Josh will have to go the distance, and he's got to be prepared to go the distance. That's the point for 10 rounds.
This is how I look at it, Max, right? Joe Joyce beats Joshua because he's got a better chin. He punches just as hard. He might not be as fast, but he's got a better engine and he can go for longer than him. And I think he walks Joshua down. He's not engaging, but then again, Joshua's hardly engaging, is he? I mean, he's gone roadman killer with all this Big Meech and Larry Hoover talk, and he's gone big time, hasn't he? Roadman killer. But if truth be known, he were like Walter Soft out the Beano, wasn't he? Do you know what I mean? He did 2 weeks in Reading jail and that were it. That's it. He's hardly fucking Papillon, is he?
No. Well, I'll tell you what you thinking of that fight of the week with Lee Wood? What did you thought of it? Lee Wood v Michael Conlan.
Best part I've seen in the last 3 years.
Tell you what, Eddie Hearn has set a standard now. Now he's put that on. He's set a standard, and he's going to have to follow suit with that. That's what I mean.
What did you think to Barry the Bacon and Ben Davison jumping about like banshees after. I thought Lee Wood conducted himself fantastic. It was disappointing to see Ben and boxer size Ben and Barry the Bacon carrying off like that.
He's you know what, Ben Davison, he's just a legend in his own lunchbox. I keep saying that, and that's what he is. You know what I mean? And you can't train a fucking dog, Ben. I'm sorry, but all he is, look, I know you say he's the one for the future. Look, he hasn't got a patch on Shane McGuigan. I'm sorry, and I look at him how he is. He's garbage. And Lee Wood, I'll tell you what. I think if Adam Booth, because I'll tell you what.
Go to Adam Booth, the Dark Lord, he's the best. Go on, Max.
I asked Julian, because on the Friday, is it Saturday? Yeah, he came up and trained me in my place, Julian. I asked him before I went off to Nottingham to watch it. I asked Julian, what are you saying about Lee Wood? And he says, I'm going to say Lee Wood, but then he changed his mind. I put the bet on Sandy Ryan to lose and Lee Wood to win. And I put that, it come to 15 to 1. And I thought, I'd take that, put 22 quid on. And Julian, this sod, he changed his mind. Actually, I'm going to say Conlon. I thought, fucking hell, he could have told me this, but it's just due to his trainer, Adam Booth.
I told you Lee Wood would win, didn't I?
Yeah.
I said Lee Wood will stop him late on in championship rounds. Frotch said that as well.
Yeah.
Because I just think that Michael Conlon has not been in with anybody that I'm not saying Michael Conlon's not a great fighter because he was a standout Olympian. He got a bronze, but he was robbed in Olympics royally. Right? It was a bad one like the Roy Jones one. He got robbed in the Olympics, but Michael Conlon was undefeated as a pro, but he hasn't shown me anything as a pro to suggest that he could deal with somebody like Lee Wood, who's seasoned and tough and can punch a bit. Do you know what I mean? And Ben Davison and Barry the Bacon have took all the credit for Lee Wood, and fair play to them. They got the chance to work with him because of MTK, but Dominic Ingle did all the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Dominic Ingle did the heavy lifting with him. Just like Peter Fury and his late brother Hughie Fury, God rest his soul. They did all the heavy lifting with Tyson Fury. Jimmy and Mark Tibbs did all the heavy lifting with Billy Joe. Do you know what I mean? And getting fighters dropped on the lap. I don't know who trained Lee McGregor before Ben, but whoever did, they did all the heavy lifting before Ben. It's all right getting these fighters on your lap, but are you adding to these fighters' game? Is Lee Wood a better fighter now than when Ben took him over?
I don't think he is. I don't think he is at all.
I think he's caught between styles, me.
I didn't see. So this is what I said. I said to our lass, I said, third or fourth round, I was cringing because I saw elements where if Michael Conlon just put the foot on the gas a little bit and go for him and let his hands go, right, he could have taken Lee Wood in second, third. He could have done it. He could have done it. And I think Adam Booth will look back at that and think, he'll kick himself and think, could have taken him in the early rounds there. And Michael Conlon, I'll tell you what, it was fantastic to watch. He was switching orthodox. He was switching into southpaw. It was just awesome to watch. And it's just when Lee Wood caught it, like cut off his ring supply and sort of got him close. That's when he was getting the better of him. But that was it. And you know, Mark. I mean, all Adam Booth's fighters. You look at Josh Kelly; they're all movers, aren't they? Move on the outside, and that's what they do. And the thing is that they look at that and think, yeah, I think they could have taken him. And I fancy if there was a rematch, and the rematch should be pay-per-view, right? And I wouldn't be against paying that. No. I think Michael Conlon would take him.
Listen, Michael Conlon would be a favourite in that rematch because he won more of the rounds. It's just that he got done with exhaustion, didn't he? And he looked like he was shattered one. That's why I was sitting on ropes because his legs have gone, haven't they? So I mean, he might have fitness problems. I don't know. But what I do know is Lee Wood won that fight on sheer will, guts, and heart. Blood and guts stuff. It was like a Ward Gatty for the new age. It was a Ward Gatty, that, mate. And we have to see that again. We have to do. And yeah, it has to be pay-per-view. And if it's on DAZN, so be it. And Eddie Hearn, we have to tip our hats to him and say, well done, because that fight got him out of jail on that night, didn't it? Because it was a crap show, wasn't it, other than that?
Yeah, I thought the undercard was a little bit poor in ways. I'm glad. I was happy for Terry Harper getting the win. Good matchmaking there. I was happy for her. Get her back her confidence back, and I was really happy for her because she's come from nowhere, and as much as I'm not fond of Steffi Bull, he's thought, right, I need to give her a little bit of a lighter opponent here, So I think a lesson learned there. But I'd like to see Terry Harper push on and get something. You know what I mean? I do like her, so I'm glad Sandy Ryan lost. Really glad about that.
Why?
She's just, do you know what? She's just a spoiled kid, poor attitude. And she strikes me a bit like the same attitude as Dylan White. Like everything should be handed on a plate to him. They strike me like that. And she's a bit like that. And she's digging out flipping Chantel Cameron and that. And Chantel Cameron's leagues above her, So, giving her shit, saying about weight, it's just bad taste. And that's what she's doing. And I just think, well, that's this. You don't need to conduct yourself like that. And it's one of the things I've learned off Julian. He says that, when you do go away and don't start causing ag, they're going to fucking have a job. In the background, like a big man or whatever. They're just doing it, getting paid. So conduct yourself. And that's one thing I'm learning off Julian. He says there's no point causing a load of aggro for no reason. So and I feel Sandy Ryan's doing that for some reason. And Chantel, all she needs to turn around and say, look, you've just lost your last one. Go back before you look forward.
What do you think it is, Max? A bit of social media, Twitter beef? Do you think that's what it is?
No, I think it's. I've looked more into it, and it's actually genuine. It's actually they just generally actually hate each other, and it's more on Sandy's. I think it's more on Sandy's side. She's more jealous Chantel Cameron, to be fair. Chantel Cameron, she lived. I didn't know this until the other day. She lived on the same estate as me when I was growing up. So she's from Chantel Cameron, Northampton.
From Kettering, isn't she?
Yeah, well, she originally born like in Northampton and grew up a state away from me. So, you know what I mean? So yeah,